Daryl Grandy, the Breakfast of Champion. Who does not love a good chicken McNugget? And I've got three knuckleheads here. No, I got three great guys here. Jack Zarinsik, who, of course, former GM of the Seattle Mariners, part of that great pre- and post-game broadcast, 93.7 The Fan. We'll talk some baseball with him quickly. Bob Dvorak, of course, Post-Gazette. And Greg Dailis Law. And, of course, he is also the man behind Vantage Management Group, part of Black and Gold Sunday. Let's talk about the Pirates now, 9-9. They get smoked 7-1 last night. Juan Nicasio takes the loss. But the bats, they've got to wake up. And Clint Hurdle in the postgame show, Jack said they will wake up.
Yeah, I think so. When you look at the numbers that the club's put together offensively, they've been impressive. They're in the top of several categories. So on a game like last night, things can happen. Sometimes they're a little flat, but they were in the ball games until the very end. Big 5-run eighth inning, changed it. So, you know what? You throw the ball out there today, and let's go get them.
I don't think the bats in the lineup concern me as much as just settling down the rotation and then shoring up the bullpen. But that takes time. I mean, people want to see it right away. It's not a microwave event. It's a crock pot. This stuff simmers.
No, it's a McNugget.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
10 chicken
there's
McNuggets,
another
I might
nugget
add,
from Rob
with a
Pratte,
little,
by the
call
way.
the doctor. Dr. Pepper is here as well, too. If you're Clint Hurdle, you got to be a little concerned about the fast start of Chicago. And I was telling my son the other day, you don't want to let them get too far ahead of you. So the Pirates got to play a little catch up to get above 500 and start winning some of these series. Even though it's early, they got to start doing that.
But you cannot control you can't concern yourself with the Chicago Cubs. What are you going to do? The Cubs are playing other teams in other cities, and so you have to concern yourself with your ball club. The only thing you can do is when you play them well.
Okay.
But to me, you just do the things you're supposed to do day in and day out, the things that they're preaching. And if you execute, you'll win ball games.
Andrew McCutcheon's not a 230 hitter. He is right now, and maybe that's a traditional slow start. I don't know, but he's going to produce, and these guys are. Maybe they don't have the power that they had last year with Neil Walker in the lineup and Pedro Alvarez, but I think they can make it up.
Great.
Jack, I think it's been interesting what's going on with the Pirates. If you look at them statistically, their batting average is among the league lead. They just haven't gotten the timely hit right now. And I don't know that that's something that maybe they're pressing a little bit at the plate. Maybe it's that McCutcheon, is the one spot where he's been coming to bat with runners in scoring position. It hasn't been effective yet. But it seems to me that that's something that straightens itself out over the course of the season.
The one thing, they've been getting a lot of runners on base. Yeah. So when you get a lot of runners on base and you really don't have the 3-run homer, you're going to strand guys. So I think that can be a little bit deceiving, but the clutch player and a clutch hit, those type of things are things that you'd love to have with every ball club. But they are producing offensively, and like we just talked about earlier, that the pitching is, I think, the thing that you really have to get settled to get it into a position where you can put this club in the position to win games.
All right, I got one for you. Bob pointed out earlier on the show, it's not Pittsburgh if we're not complaining about something. A couple of plays this week. Jaso last night leading off, gets a ball that rolls under a center fielder's glove, kind of goes out toward the wall, seemingly trotting into second base instead of trying to get to third base. And now we understand you don't want to make the first out at third base and that kind of thing, but you had that play, and then the night before you had Marte hit a ball that was kind of in that little notch. He didn't run out and didn't get to where he probably could have on the bases. That's a frustration for a fan. As a general manager and watching plays like that, does that frustrate you, or is that something that once you get to the major leagues, you got to understand that comes with the territory?
Well, on the flip side of that, there will be games that people have already complained about them being over-aggressive. What are they running in this situation for? Why did they send this guy home? Why did he get thrown out at third base? So the issue is, when you lead a game off like he did with a double, and you're at second base and nobody out, Jaso's not a burner either. Right. So you've got 3 opportunities to drive him in, and they just didn't deliver.
The great Jack Zarinsik, he, of course, with Dan Zangrilli, pre- and post-game, 93.7 The Fan. And yes, he swings the Titleist. Do you have Titleist clubs?
No, I actually don't. I have Nike clubs.
Can I see your hat?
All you need is a hat.
Can I see your hat, please?
That's where I live, so I just got a hat from where I was at. But I think, a lot of these, they're all emerged in some way somehow.
They are.
So. And what about you? Now you got a
That's a
Puma hat
Puma.
on.
Yeah, Ricky Fowler, who will win
go.
the U.S. Open. You going to get out to the U.S. Open? Oakland?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
You have any early thoughts on that at all? You like maybe pulling that thing out?
A little early yet, but these young kids are fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
that whole group is really terrific.
They are. All right, listen, I'm gonna let you slide over there and go to work, 'cause I know you gotta get on the air, unless you wanna hang out. Can you hang out for a few?
I'm fine.
Oh, let's talk some Penguins hockey real quick, okay? Penguins, of course, finished them off yesterday. They led 3-1 going into New York. New York, of course, at one time was trailing 3-1 a couple of years ago, and they came back and beat the Penguins in the second round. Didn't happen this time. Brian Russ, a couple of goals. Matt Murray, 38 saves. Mike Sullivan's got him on fire. A lot of these kids we talked about on the show are in their 20s. You know, guys like Connor Sheary and Brian Russ and Matt Murray. So very exciting times for the Penguins. They await the winner of Washington and Philadelphia, and they play Game 6 today with the Capitals leading 3-2. Bob.
A week ago, everybody's talking about, oh, what a Malkin in the lineup, let's not, you know, and they lost the game, and the wailing and the weeping and the gnashing of teeth was palpable. But you like the Penguins because of the game they play with speed and 4 strong lines, a blend of youth, experience, and then veteran leadership with Cullen and Eric Fair at the top. So, you know, I like surprises, and this team surprised me after the coaching change with Iron Mike Sullivan. And
He gave him that name, by the way. I like that.
who knows where it's going to go, but you know, you get past the first round, well, that's a huge step. And you're not trying to win a series, you're trying to win the next game.
Jack, any thoughts about the Pens?
No, it's exciting, but I'll take a back seat to all three of you guys
Yeah.
on Penguin hockey talk. You know,
Well, how
so-
about a rookie goaltender who has
Oh,
never
boy.
played in an NHL playoff game, wins 3 games in the series, and Henrik Lundqvist is you know, sent home in really a disgrace.
But that's what happens in
Yeah.
hockey.
That's what happens. Yeah, these
Goaltenders.
guys, these people aren't robots and machines.
And we all agreed on the show that Marc-Andre Fleury will probably sit because you don't remove a hot goaltender unless obviously an injury or something takes place. So we'll see how that goes.
Which side of the ledger are you guys on? You get the Penguins, they finished off the Rangers really fast. Now they have to sit and wait for a little bit. Would you rather have had them maybe lose another game so that you win later on and you stay hot?
No, when
Finish
you
it
have
off.
somebody down, you stick the stake in.
No,
Yeah.
Really?
kids in my neighborhood,
Yeah.
once they're down, step on their throat, don't
Sure.
never get back up.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, the NFL draft, okay, coming up, and of course,
Ooh, I
looks like.
feel a draft.
Well, then shut the door. All right, now listen, here's the thing. The Steelers haven't taken a cornerback, defensive back, 19 years in the first round, okay? Ted Arnott moments ago on the program with us talking about it. Looks as though it's going to be William Jackson III out of Houston. Are they that desperate for that? But then Greg said, don't be surprised if Chuck Noll doesn't come back, God rest his soul, and say, take the best athlete available. Could they take someone else?
I believe they can. The Steelers don't like to do what everybody else thinks they're going to do. They always want to do something a little bit off the beaten path. So I can see them going way crazy. Maybe an offensive tackle. There's some really good ones out there, and they do need one.
The 2 trades for the top 2 picks, I think, have really shaken up this draft. Obviously, you think those 2 teams, the Rams and the Eagles, go for quarterbacks, and the real football players are sitting right there waiting to be taken. So this will be a very interesting draft. Now, I think we all know that the Steelers' needs are cornerback, safety, and maybe a big guy in the middle defensive line to clog things up. But you know, if there's somebody sitting there that's really rates out, don't be surprised if Kevin Colbert really does pull a surprise.
Anything else?
Well, and this is a deep draft,
Deep
not
draft.
necessarily a real high quality draft at the top. So you can get the guys to fill in. If you don't feel like the guy that you really wanted is there at the top, you go for your best athlete.
Jack, I promise you, I will not be bothering you every Sunday because you're doing your notes, and Jack Zarensik and I, we just kind of take that knowledge when we can get it. And speaking of knowledge, Tommy Yankello, congratulations to him, world-class boxing. They just had a brand new baby, he and his lovely bride, Rocco, whether appropriate, and also Glenny Golovkin, one of the toughest fighters in the game right now, out of
How
Russia.
tough was it?
He's so tough, he got his 22nd consecutive win, and he got a big knockout last night. I thought I'd throw that in there.
That's a boxer's name that guy has.
Glenny Golovkin.
That's
Rob,
something.
you got a little Ken Griffey look going here for you right now.
You know what? I got to ask you about him. I love Ken Griffey, and I love the folks at Denora, and his father obviously from Denora too. And you know the Mon Valley. I had a caller call in my show, and I've thought about it for a week. He said no longer in that great community of Denora do they have a bank, a grocery store, or a filling station. Falling on some hard times. Hopefully the Mon Valley Expressway can kind of get that reignited again. but they have a lot of pride. Stan Musial, we've talked about Deacon Dan Tyler, but also Ken Griffey Jr., who really was so sweet at what he did as far as with the swing, playing the game, never implicated in anything else. You know, the old drug scandal thing that went down with steroids. What kind of a person was he? I mean, we heard that he was a little temperamental at times, which we all can be, but to me, he just seemed to be everything that's good as a human being, as a baseball player.
Yeah, he's a good person. We brought him back to Seattle, you know, in 2009. That was a big thing in Seattle. Huge, you know, to bring back the kid, you know, and then all the kids, all the young people, all the fans growing up with Ken Griffey and the superstar that he was. We later hired him after he retired, and he retired abruptly, but we hired him as a special assistant. So had a lot of talks with him. And you know, Ken is like a superstar. He is a superstar, you know, and how, you know, they're cut from a different cloth, but a good person, a great heart. You want to have a good conversation with Ken Griffey. He's got 3 kids. 2 of them are playing at the University of Arizona, one basketball, one football. The younger one is a terrific young football player, baseball player. Ask him about either of the 3 kids. In the next half hour, you'll have a great conversation with Ken Griffey. He'll do all the talking, but it'll be fun listening.
All right, one other thing, Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James, they're up 3-1. He had a double-double the other night. Stan Van Gundy's trying to figure out how he can get the Pistons back in it. They trail 3-1. NBA, my boss, Jim Gracie, was out in Seattle, did a little PA, meaning public address announcing work with the Seattle Supersonics. Now Oklahoma, OKC, Kevin Durant. They're trying to get this movement to get the NBA team back. I love it. I hope it happens. That was a great NBA town.
Yeah, the day I left, I actually had gone into a restaurant to get a bite to eat, and I ran into downtown Freddie Brown. You know, and he was one of the superstars, you know, of the era back in with the Supersonics. And they're dead set on trying to get a franchise back there. They want it. You can go to baseball games, football games, and you'll see 40, 50 people show up with Sonic gear on. They just
Jack
wear it
Sigma
all the
shirts.
time. Oh yeah, no, I've been with him on several occasions. You know,
Sigma reference.
you know it's yeah, and I mean they're dying to bring a franchise back, and it'll be the Sonics. You know, however they get it through expansion or someone leaving, but they're dead set on having it.
I'm telling you, I hear Tim Ryan, CBS Sunday. You know, they're out there in Seattle. Supersonics basketball. All right, listen.
How about Slick Watts? Ran into him a few
And
times.
that's who I was
Yeah.
trying to think of when
Yeah.
you came up with Sigma, but it's Slick Walk.
Where's Dolph Lundgren? Really?
Rocky 29. It'll be out for Christmas. All right, listen, we're out of here. Daryl Grandy, thanks. Daryl and I are going to come back just a couple of seconds because earlier today on the Raja Show, Pittsburgher, who had a huge impact out in the Silicon Valley in Seattle, recently passed away. And I said, you know what? I'm not leaving the building today till we get some really love for this man and his amazing legacy. When you find out about what this gentleman did, Bill Campbell, and he was from Pittsburgh, from Homestead, you will be amazed. That's next with your Pratt Pack. Stick around.